thing you'll want to do is a creative brief. And this is basically just a summary of the project. It's similar to the descriptions we've done in the past. But this is something that if you were working in a studio or an agency and you were proposing a project, you'd have to submit something like this. And so there's a little Google Doc with the creative brief here if you click on this template link. And so you can just edit it directly in Google Docs. You can't edit this version of it, but you can, if you have a Google account, like you can see I'm logged into my Google account, you can click on make a copy and say MMP 100 final project, and you can fill it out here. You can also download it, fill it out on a computer. You can print it, or I have copies up here. But you just fill this in, so it's pretty straightforward. Fill in your name, project title. So you should come up with a creative project title. Let's say I'm doing a comic book, so I could say I could do a comic book about what do I have on here? I have like a lizard and a pigeon, so I could say lizard and pigeon comics, whatever the title of the project is going to be. Summarize the story, and so your project should have some sort of narrative component to it. It doesn't have to be, you know, like a Hollywood movie or anything like that, but there should be some type of, beginning and middle and ending, some type of progression through the media. So I'm going to summarize my story. I'll say my story is about a lizard and a pigeon who are best friends. They hang out on the roof of a building and talk about their hopes and dreams. And of course, you can include however much information you think is necessary here. And then what media will you be embedding on the page? So here's where we can plan out what we need to tell the story. So I'll say my project will consist of, let's say, 4 Photoshop images with the lizard and pigeon character composited together. And so whatever you put here is what we're going to be looking for in the submission. So if you have 4 Photoshop images, there should be 4 files. If you have a few audio pieces, that's, this is going to show us how many files we're going to have. What is the general style / emotion that you want to convey? Not really sure why this is like style / emotion. Those words seem kind of different to me, but this is the prompt. So I'm going to say, I'm going to just describe the image. So it's very stylized. And the emotion I'm going for, let's say, is, about their friendship. So I'm going to say the images use Photoshop filters to create a stylized comic book aesthetic. Aesthetic just means what it looks like. And the emotion is, or I'll say like the emotional content is about the friendship between the lizard and pigeon. Again, this is going to be specific to whatever your project is about. I don't know why this text is bold. I'm going to change that. And then for the software, I'm using Replit and Photoshop. So whatever software you're using for this is what you're going to put there. So once you're done filling that out, just include all the information that you need there. I'm just going to download this as a PDF. PDF will be probably the best document type because it's going to work on any platform, so as opposed to like Word or whatever. So we've got the creative brief. We've already I'm going to skip this part because I'm just using examples from previous projects, but you'll create new media using Photoshop or Illustrator or After Effects or Audacity or some combination of those. And so then we're going to create our OpenLab post. So I'm going to go over to our OpenLab page, and I'll create a new post, and I'll call this, oh, whoops, I hit the edit button instead of the plus button, so let's hit the plus button. Let's make a category for our final project, and I'll call this, what did I call it? Lizard and Pigeon Comics. And what we want to have here is some documentation. So depending on what thing you're creating, some screenshots are probably the best thing to do. So I'm going to find my Replit project, and I'm just going to take a couple screenshots of this. So this isn't 100% done, but just for the example, I might change. It still says Replit as the title, so maybe I'll update that to the title of my project. So I'll say Lizard and Pigeon Comics here. So that way at least the title will look right. And then I've covered this before, but if I want to take a screenshot of this project, I can make the window fit, and then I can hit Command-Shift-4 on the Mac, and that gives me the little screenshot target. And then if I hit space, that turns it into a camera. I can take a picture. And this doesn't really capture the whole thing, so let's scroll down a little bit and let's take another picture. So when we're doing documentation for the project, this is to kind of show, this is to put something on our portfolio, and so we want to show the whole scope of the project. So I'm going to add those images here. So I'll hit image here and upload, and I'll go to my desktop, so those screenshots are going to end up on my desktop. So there's one, and let's do the next one. And so depending on what type of project you're creating, you may have more screenshots or less, but we just want to kind of show what the project looks like. Then we're going to have a link to our published page on Replit. So the published page on Replit, oh, I got rid of that. So let's see. I'll just run this and then go on the new tab. So that's always going to be the project name and then your username .replit.co. So just copy that, and I'll say link to the project, and I'll select that text to make a link. So I'll just select this whole thing, and then I'll click on this link button and paste the link in there. And then usually I like to make this open in a new tab, so I'll click on the edit and go to advanced, go to open a new tab. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my code. So the code is on this page. I'm just going to copy this and add that here. So link to project code. Same thing, just add in the link. And then we're going to edit this and open a new tab. And so then we are just going to do the description like we've done in the past. There's a template for this here. And so this might be kind of similar to your creative brief, but this should go into a little bit more detail in terms of technically what did you do. And you can describe anything else about the process as well. So I'll just do a quick example. I'll just say I used Photoshop to composite several images of the lizard and pigeon in different locations in New York to tell the story of their friendship. And then you can include any other information that's relevant to your process. If you recorded stuff in various locations, if you edited your animation in a specific way, if you use special effects, anything else that might be relevant to the project. And then any licensing information that you need, I'm going to skip this step because we've gone over it a bunch of times, but if you're using any images or audio or video from other sources, just include the credits like we've done in the past. So just the name, the title of the work, the author, name, the license, the website where it came from, the date that it was created, and then the URL. So any any licensed media you use, just follow the same process for that. Once we're all done with this, we're gonna publish it, and we'll take a look on OpenLab to make sure it looks good, and then we're gonna submit just this link and any other files that we need on Blackboard. So this OpenLab post should have some documentation. It should have a link to the project itself and the project code, and we're just gonna copy that URL. So I'm just gonna click on the URL bar, and then when we want to submit the final project, we'll go into the assignments and go to final project here. And again, just like usual for our submission, we're going to paste in a link to that OpenLab page. And then for upload files, any Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, Audacity, anything else that you use. So we would go to Browse Local Files. Again, I'm just using examples, so I'm just going to go to my self-portrait and upload this PSD. Of course, if I was doing something else, it might be AI, it might be After Effects, it might be AUP3. If you're not sure or you need help with that, I can go over it and help you submit it. But once I've got all those files attached, I just click Submit, and that's everything that I need for the final project. So we'll have the rest of today to work on this. We'll have next week to work on this, and then it'll be due on the 18th. And then we'll also have time on the 18th if there's still things that you need to wrap up after submitting stuff. We'll have some time then as well.